to one of our top stories now, and Toyota has blamed the high Australian dollar for its decision to axe 350 jobs.
Lee Dime from the Australian Manufacturers Workers Union says governments need to do everything they can to support the industry.
The manufacturing industry and the vehicle industry is the cornerstone as far as that's concerned. Really, the state and the federal government need to get involved. They need to be putting out good manufacturing policies. They need to be making sure that they do everything that they can possibly do to assist our members and employees on this site. You have the auto industry disappear off the shores of Australia. You have the auto industry disappear out of Altona. The ramifications and the follow-on effects to that are going to be absolutely huge.
Lee Dime there. Now, Kim Carr is the Federal Minister for Manufacturing and Defence Material. He joins us now on the phone from Canberra. Thank you for your time this morning, Mr. Carr. I just wanted to put to you a comment from Max Usada, the President of Toyota in Australia. He says, "My vision in 5 years' time is we'll continue to be manufacturing in Altona, but beyond that is not yet decided." How worrying is that for you?
I think we have seen in recent times just how difficult conditions are in the automotive industry. We are going through one of the most difficult times we've seen probably since the 1950s. This is a direct result of the changes in the Australian dollar. For Toyota, which is a very good company and has not had these sorts of layoffs for 20 years, it indicates just how serious the situation is. Now, we're working directly with the companies and with the unions to ensure that we can secure the future for manufacturing in Australia. This is about a fight for jobs, fight for Australian jobs, and we want to be part of a great international industry like the automotive industry.
Well, comments yesterday from the former Mitsubishi boss in Australia, who said that it doesn't envisage these sorts of plants being operational beyond 7 years. So has it been very difficult for you to get assurances from these car companies on their futures?
Well, what we do know is that each of the companies goes through model cycles, and the investment periods, of course, run through each of those model cycles. So we work with individual companies to attract new investment, which is what secures the future. It's what secures the innovation, it's what secures the new technologies, it's what secures the jobs for Australians into the future. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We're going through each and every company to ensure that we can secure the new investment. That's why Tony Abbott's position is quite disturbing. We need to approach this in a bipartisan manner, as we have traditionally, because this is an incredibly important industry, very important for manufacturing, very important for the sort of economy we want to be, very important to secure balanced opportunities for working people across this country.
Mr. Usada is saying he's making no plans for the future beyond 5 years.
Well, that's the question that we will address directly with the company. And we are, as I say, going through this process of discussing with each and every company the effects of the changes in the dollar. We want to be able to secure the new technologies, the new industrial processes, the new productivity levels to attract the investment, which is vital to the future of the industry.
And what evidence have you been given from those car companies that the money being spent by the federal government is working to keep jobs and perhaps sustain them for the foreseeable future?
Well, we know that we are one of 13 countries in the world that has the full capacity to make a motor car from the very point of an idea through to the showroom floor. We're a very good company internationally. And we know that by international standards, the amount of public support we provide to the automotive industry is quite modest. We also know that the investments we have made through the new car plan for a greener future has secured the industry through the last phase of the economic crisis in 2008, and we know that we can secure the future if we have the right policy settings in place. And that's why I say it's important for the Liberal Party to also face up to their responsibility to secure jobs for Australian workers.
And what evidence do you have then that cutting those subsidies to the amount that the Coalition has said it would be damaging and would kill off the industry, as to paraphrase what I heard you've been saying in the last couple of days?
Well, there's just no doubt that is the level of damage we are talking about. That is the destruction of the industry if Mr Abbott's policies were put in place. Around the world, the co-investment strategies that the Australian government is using have been replicated. However, the difference is the amount of money we provide is probably much more modest, in fact, considerably more modest than, say, the United States government or the French government or the British government. Governments around the world know how important the automotive industry is to their manufacturing sectors, and it's a pity that Mr Abbott hasn't learnt that lesson.
And what's going to be your financial response to the Toyota's cutting 350 jobs? Are you likely to increase support for that company?
Well, Toyota's not seeking money. We don't do bailouts. We don't provide gifts to companies. We provide a co-investment framework to secure new investment for the new technologies that we need in the industry. So there is no direct financial implication of the decision that's been taken here. What we will do is work with the company about getting the next round of investment to secure the jobs for the future, and we'll do that with each and every company in the automotive industry.
Mr Carr, it's difficult to work out what the flow-on effect on employment would be in the components industry. What's your advice on how many further jobs are expected to be lost as a result of these 350?
Well, the rule of thumb is at least 3 to 1 as a consequence of the knock-on effects, and that's why it's so important for us to work with individual companies to secure new investment. We will be doing that, and we will work closely with the industry, as we have been doing. This is a government that is committed to fight for jobs in Australia, and it is committed to ensure that we are competitive in the international markets, and we know that the dollar has had a dramatic effect on our capacity to compete. And so we need to work with the companies in these extraordinary times, given the difficulties that we're facing with the dollar, which is now some 67% higher than it was back in the beginning of 2008.
Minister Carr, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.